This is Bethel College Volleyball. Live on the Bethel Sports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome you into Goodman Gymnasium tonight as we bring you the 23rd ranked Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats and your Bethel College Pilots for some women's volleyball. I'm joined now by my partner in crime for the season, Justin Brown. Justin, rivalry matchup here tonight.
That's very true. The Wildcats are up to an impressive 7-0 start in conference, while the Pilots are 3-4. Pilots currently on a 2-game losing streak, but hopefully they can turn it around tonight, get the big W.
Well, absolutely, as Justin said, IWU leading the conference right now. Bethel trying to work their way back into the conference battle. But as we always say in a rivalry game, you throw the records out the window, Justin. It is all about pride tonight. And leading the Pilots tonight, we got some key players for you. If you look at this team, Zoe Wolfenbarger, they call her Vegas. She's leading the team in kills this season. Peyton Anderson stepping in as a sophomore, leading the team in assists. Aaron Carlos, the former libero, not playing that position tonight. She leads the team in aces and digs. And then Cassandra Williams up at the front of the net leading the team in blocks. So those are some players to watch out for. Of course, the Pilots are looking for weapons, but we will see if they can get a win here tonight against a very dominant so far this season Indiana Wesleyan team. Let everybody know tonight that we are having some technical difficulties with our scoreboard on the screen. We will keep you updated as often as possible, and of course you can see on the middle of the court there that scoreboard will always be functioning as well. And here we go, IWU with the first serve, and Kristen Mitchell off the block, out of bounds, and the Pilots are on the board first. Good hit there from Mitch.
Critical first point there by the Pilots. They really need to get these first few points in to get this game going in their favor.
Well, it's been a minute since we brought you a volleyball game here on the Bethel Sports Network, and since that last game, we have some new starters out there for Bethel as a big kill gets sent home for the Wildcats, but new libero, Meg Gabbard, and then Bridget Downs. We've not seen her much this season, but she gets the start tonight. Will be number 1, Lindsay Rogan, serving for the Wildcats, and she goes right into the net. That makes it a 2-1 ball game. Pilots in the lead, and Zoe Wolfenbarger on the serve. And for most of this season, she had led the team in aces. Certainly a weapon back there serving for the Pilots. Haley Brown going to get a shot at it, and she puts it home. And that's good to see, Justin, because the game that you and I called slow starts was the big problem.
Yeah, for sure. The Pilots definitely came out slow there in that game, but if they can get this momentum going, continue to get these points early on, it'll be huge for them.
Vegas, another good serve for her. They set it over, tipped, and Downs just can't get there. That was number 16, Bianca Cifaldi, for the Wildcats. Alexis Rutt to serve. Haley's going to get a chance, and she puts it home. 2 early kills for Haley Brown, and Cassie Sears is going to get her first look tonight. 4-2, Pilots leading early on in the first set. Good serve there from Kristen Mitchell. Could be a free ball. Cassie mistimed her jump a little bit. Here she goes, second try. Good dig. Quick set there from Peyton Anderson. And a good volley. He wants it more. Big hit from Vegas. They go cross court, kept up. Off the block, kept alive. Can Vegas put it away? She can! What a huge point for the Pilots. Now up 5-2, and Justin, those long volleys, you've got to be the team that takes that point.
You can really tell the emotion on the girls' faces after that point. Huge point there for the Pilots as they're up 5-2.
And that's an illegal hit. Pilots jumping out to a 6-2 advantage here in set one. And Kristen Mitchell comes up with an ace.
As we have said before, momentum is the key to this game, and currently the Pilots have it all in their favor as they're up 7-2.
7-2, and if the Pilots get many more, you'd think a timeout would be coming. Safaldi, though, takes out some frustration and gets the Wildcats back in the scoring column. Two new players on for the Wildcats now. That's number 8, Tay Thomas, and on to serve number 2, Emily Workman. Here's Cassie Sears, big hit, kept up. Baldy, and man, she can really put them away. That is back-to-back points for her to stop what was a Pilot run.
I have a feeling we're going to be calling her name a lot tonight, as that's 2 huge hits there in the first few points here for the Wildcats.
She is a senior, transferred in from Kent State University, so a Division I athlete. Certainly expect a lot out of her, and she seems to be the whole package here tonight. They're able to keep that one up. Cassie Sears going to go the other way. And free ball here for the Pilots. Can they take advantage? Another free ball. Haley Brown off the block, out of bounds. Pilot point.
Big point there. 2 consecutive free balls, as you said. Pilots definitely know to put that one away. Up 8-4. Momentum's in their favor. Can they continue this? Keep it up with some consistent serves by Haley Brown.
And tipped back at the Wildcats. Going to go over. And that's going to be out of bounds. Pilots now up 9-4, and we have a timeout from the Wildcats. And what a start for the Pilots, Justin.
This is exactly the start they needed. They're up by 5. Momentum's definitely in their favor. Looking good with consistent serves. And those big points where it's been a long point or a long rally, they've come up huge on that side. Definitely been good for them as they have this momentum.
Well, this matchup really couldn't be more polar opposites. We touched on the records early on. The Pilots have gotten off to a bit of a slow start this season, but as we've talked about in our other broadcast, it's first-year head coach Rachel Wiegand. And when you come in, you're trying to set up your new regime, your style, it is hard to kind of get off to a hot start sometimes, but you look at the other side, and IWU's coach, Candace Moats, 15 years at the helm. And as usual with Indiana Wesleyan athletics, they are the top of this conference. But as we said, doesn't matter when you're rivals, and the Pilots have come out with a lot of fire.
Yeah, I think the rivalry for sure has been, I think it's been a good fuel for them, for the Pilots, as they come into this game. There's always some tension between the two teams, and it seems like the Pilots have really come out prepared for this game and ready to take to the Wildcats, despite the 2 very different starts this season.
Well, out of the Indiana Wesleyan timeout, we will see if the Wildcats respond, but it is Haley Brown still serving for the Pilots. Set up. Safaldi goes short, drops it in. And right there seeing it's not all power from the senior. She's got some touch as well, and that's huge. When you start getting everybody backing up, just being able to drop it in the middle of the court, you're going to get a lot of points that way.
Definitely a signal of a lot of experience coming there from the senior. Great play.
Sears a little up ahead of her. She was able to get it over. Big hit there, kept alive by Gabbard. A little miscommunication. Vegas was able to get it over, keep the Pilots alive. Keeps that one up. Quick set from Anderson. Still alive. Gabbard's just got to get it over, and they call a double hit on Gabbard. So now 9-6. Pilots still in the lead. That's Ashlyn Buck on to serve. Miss hit there from Vegas, off the serve. That one kind of rode up her arm.
Couple of miscommunications here from the Pirates. They just got to pull it together, get another point back, get back in the swing of things, get the momentum back.
And another miss hit off the serve. And another double hit called on Meg Gabbard, who's not happy with that call. But as it stands, out of that timeout, 4 straight points for the Wildcats.
A lot of frustration on the face of the Pilots. They need to get a point here, get that momentum back.
Somehow Cassandra Williams got a hand on that one, mistimed that jump. Pilots are going to have a shot at this. And Anderson had an open spot on the court to go to, pushed it long, and the Wildcats have tied this up at 9.
Seems like a good call for the timeout there by the Wildcats. 5 straight points.
Kept up, it's Sears. Free ball for the Pilots, and a miss hit. They're gonna have to give it right back. Set up, huge shot, but out, and they say it was not tipped. Somehow that got through, and the Pilots got lucky there.
Appeals for a touch there from both the coach and players of IWU, but no touch called by the ref. Point for the Pilots, up 1.
The Pilots needed a point most. They were somehow able to get one. We'll see if they can put that to their advantage here. Set up. It's Vegas. Off the block, kept alive. Nice play there by Gabbard. Bit of a miss hit. Still, oh wow, what a play there. Off the block. IWU's going to get another chance. Still alive, but that one's off the scorer's table. And the Wildcats able to get that point, but that was some scrappy play there by the Pilots.
Yeah, Meg Gabbard, the libero, with a couple of great plays. Unfortunately, Pilots not able to pull the point away.
But Banner Rogers, a service error there, and it puts the Pilots back in the lead, even though they lost that previous point. Again, when you're playing against superior competition, you've got to have that fight, you got to have that fire, and in essence, they end up getting rewarded there. They get the ball back on the service error. Pitch goes off a 2. And a double hit. Pilots up 12-10.
Only up 2, so the Pilots can't get comfortable here, but they still have the momentum, still have the serve. Up by a couple points. They need to keep the lead going, increase the lead even as we get in towards later of this the part of the first game.
Be Bridget Downs to serve for the Pilots. Have a little delay here for some moisture on the floor on both sides of the court. And Downs off the top of the net and back. So a service error there by the Pilots. And those really are just momentum killers. A lot like turnovers in football. When you just give a free point away, that really hurts.
Yeah, another key for the Pilots to win this one is they can't give these free points away to IWU. They gotta let them earn each and every point. If not, then the apparently much stronger IWU Wildcats are gonna pull us away.
Well, they certainly earned that point. Remy Buckner went up by herself against really the Pilots' best offensive weapon and sent it right back at Zoe Wolfenbarger. Miss hit there, kept alive. Blocked back at him. Set up, there's Vegas off the top of the net. Big hit and in on the back line. Nice play there from Morgan Miller, and the Wildcats have their first lead of the night. Blocked back close to the net, and they call a net violation or a double hit on Peyton Anderson. That was a tough set for her. She had to avoid the net and try to get it popped back up, and in doing so had that violation.
Tough set in the third two-hit violation by the Pilots. They can't keep giving these free points away. Got to make them earn every single point.
Sandra Williams rather there trying to get the Pilots back on the right track. Here's Anderson, Cassandra Williams, what a dig. Off the block and down. And that makes it 15-12. Coach Wiegand seemingly okay with letting the Pilots trying to work this one out on their own.
IU was down 9-4 before that timeout. They're now up 4, 16-12.
And there's the timeout. As Vegas thought that got tipped, the officials did not see it that way. And heading into this timeout, Pilots are on the wrong side of an 11-3 run.
Yeah, Pilots started out strong. They were up by 5, doing great. Serves were great. And it was that timeout kind of killed the momentum. Whatever the IU coach told her girls, it worked because they're definitely coming out much stronger, playing much better, earning the points. They're now up 4, 16-12. Big timeout here for the Pilots. They got to get that momentum back, get back into this game.
I misspoke. It's actually a 12-3 run by the Wildcats. Just dominating, as you said, after that timeout. We'll see if the Pilots can have a good response themselves after this timeout from Coach Wiegand. And I'm sure right now she is letting her girls know you're in this game. You're only down 4. You led for a good portion of this first set. Come out, have that fight, have that fire you started the game with, and try to get a victory here. Because really for the Pilots this season, that's been the key. When they win the first set, they're 7-3. When they lose the first set, they're 0 for 8. So this first set is huge, setting up how the rest of the night will go.
I think especially mentally, if you win the first set, it makes it much easier to go into the sets 2 and 3. Losing that first set, you're already coming back with that you got to fight back mentality. But if they can kind of get the first punch in, win that first set, it's going to be huge for the Pilots. As you said, the record, it shows it all. When they win the first set, much better chance of winning the game.
And big hit, but blocked right back at the Pilots. And it seems right now in this first set, IU has hit their stride. As for the first time tonight, Britton Carnahan is going to check in for Kristen Mitchell. And a miss hit there by the Wildcats. Pilots, though, at this point, going to take a point any which way they can get it. And hopefully Meg Gabbard can get the Pilots moving in the right direction. Good block by Haley Brown and Zoe Wolfenbarger. That one, though, gets through the block, and that is Morgan Miller. Wildcats up 18-13.
Huge hit there. Looked like the Pilots were going to get it back into it, get a couple points, but once again, IU, huge hit. Too much there for the Pilots for the block. Only down by 5, but the Pilots really need these next few points to get back in this game.
And Haley Brown mishit and went hard into that side post there. As Lindsay Rogan serves for the Wildcats. Britton Carnahan off the antenna. 20-13, and Coach Wiegand, she only has 2 timeouts, so you might as well use them. So that did not work out, that first timeout, as IU is still rolling here in this first set.
Pilots definitely need to change something up. Little miscommunication, some mishits. I think together they're not playing that well. They need to come together as a team, play much better together, have consistent serves. They can't give those free points to IU because IU is going to take everything they can get, and then they're going to earn those big points that they need for that momentum. So yeah, Pilots definitely got to come out strong. They got to win these next few points. They're definitely not out of this first set, but they got to come back huge after this timeout.
Well, and I think especially what Coach Wiegand is going to be telling her girls is that, yes, IU is undefeated in conference. Yes, they're ranked, but you have every opportunity to win every game you're in. It starts out 0-0, and you have to go in with that focus. You have to go in with that mindset. You can't look up and say, you know, we're on the bad end of a 15-4 run. You have to say that we can go get these next few points and make this a game.
It appeared like they had that mentality coming into the beginning of the game, but something switched after that timeout, and maybe they aren't believing they can win, or there's just not as much confidence I see on the faces. Some frustration, a little bit of anger. Let it come back, enjoy the game, have some fun, and come back and win these next few points.
We'll see. It is still Rogan serving for the Wildcats. And a big hit there from Haley Brown to get the Pilots back on the scoreboard.
That's the point they needed. It was a huge point. They definitely earned it. Did well for that. Now as Vegas comes to the serve, only down 6. They got to get this 1 point at a time.
Great serve there from Vegas, but it's kept up. Got to get this one over. And they let it drop in as Britton Carnahan gets the point. I don't know if that was a little miscommunication, if they thought it was going to go out, but it dropped in a wide open spot there. Britton Carnahan gets this to a 5-point game. Another big serve from Vegas. And a huge hit from Morgan Miller. She's had a fantastic first set for the Wildcats. Gets it back to a 6-point game. And Vegas leaves it short, trying to get it over. Puts this to 22-15, and Wildcats well on their way to closing out this first set.
That's one of those points that they can't give to IWU. They need to make sure that IWU earns every single point that they get. Can't give those free points away.
There's Carnahan. Wow, loading up. Put a lot behind that one. A good dig. And block back at him on the line. That's Carnahan and Haley Brown teaming up for that one. Makes it 22-16.
Huge hit from the Wildcats. Even a better block there from the Pilots. Got it right inside the line there. Only down by 6. They can come back for sure. They just got to believe they can do it. Have some fun. Enjoy the game. Play together. Get this momentum back.
And blocked by Cifaldi, and it's going to be a Pilot point. They say the Pilots didn't even block that one. It was off the net and back, so a 4th hit by the Wildcats, and it is Kristen Mitchell serving down 5. They try a quick hit, knocked around, and the Pilots can't keep it alive. Here's Emily Workman. And she serves it long, so Pilots just hanging around, but still IWU 2 points from victory. They got to go on a run right here, right now.
Haley needs a big serve here to put IWU on their toes, back of their heels. Get a big point here, only down 5.
And she goes into the net, and it will be set point for the Wildcats. They will have 6 of them. Safe serve there, just getting it over. Miss hit by Anderson. And that's off the top of the net and out. So Pilots not dead yet. But Peyton's got to put together at least 5 straight points. And that big hit from Tay Thomas will put away the Pilots in the first set, 25-19. And 25-19 feels close. If you just look at the score, it doesn't feel as close when you look at the fact that the Pilots were up 9-4 early. And then a timeout, as you said, from Coach Moats, and IWU something clicked, and they just put the pedal to the floor and did not let the Pilots stay in it.
Yeah, Pilots came out strong for what they needed to do against a team this big, a team doing this well in the conference, being 7-0. They came out really strong. I had that timeout, something switched. They kind of fought back a little bit. It was back and forth, and as you said, they lost by 6 in this first set. And unfortunately, the stats are against the Pilots on there, as they are, as you said before, 0-8 when they lose the first set. So they definitely have to come back, win huge in the second set, and get that momentum back that they desperately need to win this game against IWU.
Well, we'll see how this develops as we get into the second set and beyond. But we touched on Erin Carlos in the pregame, leading this team in aces and in digs. She did not see the floor in that first set. Now, you and I were here for a warm-up. She seemed to be okay, but she normally is the libero. Meg Gabbard has that role tonight, so not sure if she's injured, not sure what's really going on there, as we see IWU talking over things. And I mean, really just keep doing what you're doing. If you're looking at it from IWU's perspective, if you're in the Bethel huddle right now, you got to get that fire you had at the beginning of the first set and not how you finished.
Yeah, it seemed, I don't know, we don't really know what's wrong with Erin or why this changeup. Maybe they wanted to see different formation, different players in different positions, see what was going on there. But yeah, it seemed as though she is one of the best, better players looking at the stats. Not sure why she didn't see any time there in the first set, but we'll see if she sees some time in the second set, see if they can mix things up to get this second set underway and really going in their favor.
Well, and huge too. She's a junior. She has 3 years of experience. Kind of got thrown to the fire, as did a handful of the juniors on this team their freshman year. Just an undermanned team at that point. And so these juniors have a lot of experience under their belt. So whenever you can have that, you definitely don't want to take that for granted. But we'll see how that plays out. Of course, it is just one set. You have to win 3. But this one really critical for the Pilots. As we said, they've yet to come back and win a match when they've lost the first set. They're 0-8. So hopefully they can buck that trend tonight. But really it starts right here, because if you go down 0-2, you just feel like it's all said and done.
Yeah, going down 0-2, definitely a huge mental deficit for the girls here, as they are. But yeah, they got to come back, win this second set. They can go tie it up 1-1, and it's like it's a fresh new game, like it's 0-0, which they really need that. As Wildcats are definitely in the position to take this away. It's only one set, but as we said before, that's a huge first set for both teams.
Those of you that are new to this, these sets are played to 25. You do have to win by 2, and if this does go to a 5th set, that one is again win by 2, but it is only played to 15. And really, you know, Justin, the Pilots had a good start to the month of September. They won 5 of 6 to start that month. Of course, you and I called the loss to Taylor in that stretch, but then 2 nights later I called a 5-set victory over Grace, and again, that was kind of the same format, rivalry, everybody just fighting pride on the line, and it was a fantastic night. Saw the Pilots come out absolutely on fire. They were up 2-0, and Grace, to their credit, ended up forcing that 5th set, which the Pilots won. They were able to rattle off 2 more wins after that, a 5-set victory down at Huntington. And Huntington off to a pretty good start this season. Spring Arbor, they were able to sweep 3-0, but then these last 2 matches they've had on the road at Goshen and Marion, 0-3, 0-3. So they have now lost 7 sets in a row, and certainly you want to get off of that tonight. For the Pilots, it will be Peyton Anderson serving to start out this second set, and we are underway. Can the Pilots come back here tonight? And that is not the start you were looking for, but Tay Thomas. Can't really highlight any one IWU player, 'cause it seems like every person they've sent up there to go for a kill has just absolutely destroyed the ball, and really no errors up at the net.
Yeah, Wildcats definitely playing very well together as a team, and as we see there, a miss hit, unfortunate point, but that's one of the points we talked about where Bethel can't give Iwu these points. They can't give away these free points because they're going to take them and they're going to use that for their advantage as they have that momentum.
That'll go down as an ace for Katie Elson. And a point for Iwu there. So 3-0 start for the Wildcats. And the Pilots need to get it back going in a hurry. And that's right about how you do it. You get it to your best player, Zoe Wolfenbarger, off the block and in for a Pilot point.
Huge point as they gave up those first 3 points in this second set. Got to chip away at it 1 point at a time, down a set. Second set's going to be huge for the Pilots to win this game.
Big hit there from Tate Thomas. What a save by Bridget Downs. And a miss hit by Kelly Miller. Pilots now have it at a 1 point game, 2-3. See if Bridget Downs can tie it up. And that'll go off the block and out to give the Wildcats a 2 point lead.
Big hit from Morgan Miller. Pilots were in the right spot, but it was just a little too much for them to handle. Pilots now down 2-4 in this second set. Lindsay Rogan up to serve there for the Wildcats.
Set goes cross court. Kristen Mitchell puts a little too much on it. Will be out of bounds, out the back. And that gives the Wildcats a 5-2 advantage. Amanda Brinkman gets it blocked back at her. Free ball given up there. And they called that out?
They called it out. The Wildcat coach definitely is appealing for a touch. Referee didn't call a touch. They given the point to the Pilots. But yeah, the far referee called it out of bounds, which looked out to me, but there might have been a touch. The coach now looking to appeal to the ref, who will now talk to the other sideline judge.
Well, the call stands as it is, and it is a 5-3 Wildcat advantage. And based on the reaction of this sideline ref, I'm going to say the Pilots probably touched it because he's getting a good laugh out of this. But it is what it is. The Pilots have the serve, and they do have to take advantage of it, and they're able to block Safaldi, and they are able to do nothing with Morgan Miller. Well, that makes it so much more challenging when it's not just one player. Safaldi obviously got off to the great start, but when they have Morgan Miller up there, Tay Thomas up there, you can't just look to one side and you may be able to get one block, but you can't get over fast enough to the other side for a second block. But Haley Brown there stepping up and getting the Pilots back on the scoreboard.
Big point only down two, but as you said, it seems like the Wildcats have a whole lot more in their arsenal than the Pilots can deal with. They have multiple big hitters that they can set to, but great point there for the Pilots as they are down to Vegas here for the serve in this second set.
We clean up some moisture on the floor, and Vegas looks good to go. And that's another big hit. That one from Kylie Portera.
A little bit of frustration there from Haley Brown, as you saw on her face. She knew she was there in the right position, just couldn't quite come up with the block.
Haley Brown just touches it over. And Portera, back-to-back hits. Hadn't said her name all night, but as we said, the Wildcats just keep throwing them at you. And they now have an 8-4 advantage. Haley Brown off the top of the net. Rogan able to recover and keep it alive. Free ball for the Pilots. Anderson going to go cross court. Carnahan off the block, and that's out of bounds. I tell you what, we did not see much of Carnahan a couple weeks ago, but she has come in and she can really lace that thing.
Doing really well so far in this game for sure. Big hit there. Pilots definitely needed that. Only down 3.
Kristen Mitchell in to serve. Wow. That is beyond impressive, folks. That was a mishit. Somehow set it. She was essentially just saving it from going over, and ended up being a huge shot that puts the Wildcats back up 4.
It seemed like Kristen Mitchell was just ducking out of the way, hoping it wouldn't hit her. But yeah, huge hit there. Big point for the Wildcats, up 4.
Nice block there, kept alive. Another block, that one off the top of the net. It'll stay with the Pilots. Good dig there. And that's off the block. And it puts the Wildcats up 5. And that just seems to be the difference. Every time there's one of these long volleys, the Pilots maybe get one good hit in, and it seems like every time it's coming back from the Wildcats, it's a fantastic 3 hits and a good shot at a kill. But there is a mistake made there. A double hit on that set makes this 6-10. Haley Brown now hoping to recover from that service error she had in the first set. She goes long, went into the net.
A little overcompensation there for sure. Definitely all mental there. She's usually a solid, consistent server, but first one in the net, second one overhead. Great point there. Good hit as it just snuck inside.
Amanda Brinkman finding the corner. Senior's had a lot of injury troubles throughout her time here as a Pilot. Good to see her get that point and make this a 4-point game. And Vegas, big shot kept up. Tay Thomas puts it away. Seems like we're at a point now we're just kind of going back and forth trading points, but I'm sure IWU has no problem with that when being up 5. Another fantastic serve there by Elson as Vegas tries to go cross court and cannot keep it in. And it puts the Wildcats at a 13-7 advantage. We have some more sweat on the floor. This set has really not been too much momentum swinging one way or the other. Really, the Wildcats have built a 6-point lead just based on 3 or 4 different times winning back-to-back points. No real big runs here in this second set. The Wildcats have just executed a little bit better. And that hit goes long from Wolfenbarger, and there's the timeout from Rochelle Wiegand as her Lady Pilots face a 7-point deficit, 14-7. And Justin, they got to get something going now because you're down 7. You're already down 1-0. You can't afford to lose the second set.
As you kind of mentioned too in this set, there haven't really been any great points, any huge rallies, as you said. There's been a whole lot of ugly points and a whole lot of mistakes that have kind of added to points. IWU on top here by 7. Big timeout here from the Pilots. As we saw in the first set, the IWU timeout was huge for them. Ended up being a 12-3 swing. A lot of points there coming from IWU. Let's see if Pilots can also mimic that same thing, copy that, do what IWU did as they came out of that timeout. They need the momentum here as they are down 7 in the second set, as they're down 1-0 in the game.
We will see if they can respond and do just that. And really, when you look at the standings right now, the Pilots are sitting in 8th place at this point. And, of course, still a lot of the season left to go. A little more than a month's worth of games. But the top 8 make the conference tournament, just like most conference tournaments in the Crossroads League. And you're sitting right on that bubble right now. And really, when you're facing the top team in the league and you're near the bottom, you want to use it as a measuring stick kind of night. And a big block there makes it 15-7. Right now, if you're the Pilots, you just got to figure out what matchups work for you on the court. Where do you look your best, and try to put something together here as the night goes on. Big hit there. Somehow kept up. What a play by the Wildcats. Keeps that one up as well. And that's going to go long. Again, asking for a tip. And the officials say there was not one. It'll be Bridget Downs on to serve.
Once again, Wildcats were appealing for a touch. Referee didn't see it. Pilots down 7. Good serve there from her.
We go cross court. And that's going to be 4 hits by the Wildcats.
Pilots only down 6 in this second set. They just got to keep chipping away 1 point at a time as the service comes here from Bridget Downs, the freshman out of Kentucky. Unfortunately, service error there, a little wide, as the Pilots gave another free point to the Wildcats, which we mentioned before. They can't keep giving away these free points. They have to make the Wildcats earn every single point that they get.
Well, we talked about just kind of making mistakes. When the Pilots hit above 200, they're 3-1. Now, when we say that, that means for the opportunities that they have to get a point, as Iwu chalks up another one, 20% of the time they're able to put it away. Well, in the first set, they got it .029. That's 2% of the time they were able to get a point. So, I mean, that just spells it out for you right there. Now, part of that is Iwu being able to be in position and use their athleticism, use their ability to get blocks, but part of that, too, is just errors on behalf of the Pilots. And if we say error, there's one from Iwu finally, but there's just this disparagement right now really on the court, and it's working out in Iwu's favor.
Yeah, as it has kind of gone in this set, there haven't been a whole lot of great points. Haven't been any huge rallies of consecutive points either. It's been kind of an ugly set with some ugly plays. But yeah, Iwu on the top side of that, unfortunately, for the Pilots.
Anderson going to go over. Carnahan, big hit, blocked out of bounds. And that makes it 17-11. Meg Gabbard going to go back to serve. We'll see what Meg can do here. She goes right into the net. There's those errors we talked about, those free, unforced errors.
Definitely frustration there you saw on Rachel Wiegand's face as she looked towards the other coach. She was just kind of saying, what are we doing? Why are we, we're giving away these points? You could see it there. Frustration is definitely a word, and free point there given away from the Pilots.
That one was Zoe Wolfenbarger going cross court, and no one was home to keep it alive. That makes it 19-11 in favor of the Wildcats with Alexis Rutt serving. And Haley Brown just kept up, and that's going to be a double hit against the Wildcats. I mean, and really, this hasn't been a fantastic set by the Wildcats either. They, like you said, they've made mistakes. They've had a lot of ugly points. They've just happened to come together a little bit more than the Pilots have. Example right there, that really wasn't the best set or the best hit, but they've just been able to just make that play. And you see up 8 here late in the second set.
Yeah, really no impressive great runs here by the Wildcats. The Pilots are kind of shoot themselves in the foot. There's been miscommunication, some mishits, not incredible hits from the Wildcats. The Pilots are just out of it mentally. It appears like as they are down 8 in this second set, Service here by number 2, Emily Workman. Yeah, Pilots just need to come away a few points at a time. Can't look at as though they're down 8. Can't mentally get out of it, but just 1 point at a time. Get back in this second set.
Going to be Britton Carnahan now. A little miscommunication. The Pilots going to get that point. Couple mishits there from the Wildcats, and Cifaldi just not able to keep it in play. And it's Kristen Mitchell to serve. Kept up by Gabbard. Cross court set. Cassie Sears off the block and in.
There's some smiles from the Pilots over there. Down 6, huge point. They're having some fun. They're enjoying the game. Big server from Kristen Mitchell in this second set, down 1-0.
And Mitch able to get a hand on it, but not able to get it up for anyone to get there. Makes it 21-14. And Ashlyn Buck to serve. Haley Brown goes long. Had a good chance there, just couldn't keep that one in. Puts it back up to an 8-point game. Quick hit over there from Peyton Anderson, and a good block there. Haley Brown getting up and knocking it down. 15-22, and she's going to go back to serve.
Right time, right place for Haley Brown. Let's see here as she comes with a serve. Last couple of serves haven't been the best. It's just mental. That's all it is right now for her. Just get it over the net, get your team back in this game. Great serve there.
Kept up by Katie Easter, and that's going to be a net violation against Peyton Anderson.
Unfortunate for the Pilots. Another free point given to the Wildcats. They can't keep doing that. As the stats say, Wildcats 7-0, Pilots 3-4. Not necessarily much better team, but there's, as the stats have shown, it's just good point there though by the Pilots.
Cassandra Williams knocking one down. Makes 23-16. Peyton Anderson will go back to serve.
Wildcats only 2 points away from taking this set 2. Pilots need to come out huge here with some consecutive points.
And off the block and down. That is Remy Buckner, senior out of Ulysses, Texas. We're going to have a delay here as Katie Elson, who has had some fantastic serves here tonight, especially in the second set. She's going to have a chance to put this one away and put the Pilots in an 0-2 hole. Miss hit there. She's going to get it over, and she gets it in. So Bridget Downs comes on to serve with the daunting task of needing 7 straight points to tie this thing up at 24. And they will not be able to do it, as Remy Buckner, again, not the best set in the world, but able to still get a good hit on it, and it's off the Pilots and out of bounds.
Yeah, that the second set kind of was all over the place. It didn't seem like there was much more than 2 or 3 points scored in a row for each team. Not a whole lot of great chemistry, not a whole lot of great teamwork, but IU ended up on top there as they won by 8 in the second set, going up 2-0 in this game. Pilots need to come out of this break huge with a lot of momentum, a better game plan, doing something different to really come out and take it to this 7-0 Wildcat team.
Well, and you can see as the teams head back to the locker room, you can see on our camera here that the Bethel coaching staff has stayed out on the court. Coach Wiegand with her assistants, and rightfully so, does not look happy right now. And they seem to be game planning, maybe coming up with some big changes here for this third set. The Pilots absolutely need it. It's kind of one of those things. Change can't hurt at this point. But like you said, not a real impressive outing so far for the Wildcats. And obviously I'm sure they know that. I'm sure they hold themselves to a higher standard than some of the sloppy play we've seen. But that's where talent comes in. And it is a bit of an old cliche, but the great teams win even when they're not playing great. And IU certainly has shown that tonight.
Yeah, second set, it wasn't pretty. It was kind of an ugly set. Both teams were all over the place. Both teams lacked communication, but they did okay. It wasn't terribly impressive, as we said. Iowa came out on top, 8 points, second set.
Well, and you go back to the first set. The start of the first set was fantastic for the Pilots. They were up 7-3, and then they were up 9-4, and IU called a timeout. And from that timeout on, all the way through here to the end of the second set, really, the Pilots haven't been in this one tonight.
Yeah, in the last game we called Pilots against Taylor, the word we kept going back to was momentum. And it seems like Iowa's had that ever since that timeout. It's been on their side. Pilots came out strong. They did great in those first. They were up 9-4. They came out really well in the first set, and then ever since that timeout, something changed. I think most of it's mental. I think they got a few points, gave a few points to IU, and they've just been consistently not impressing, not doing that well ever since then. Yeah, IU's been on top. Unfortunate start here for the Pilots as they are down 2-0. Really got to fight back out of the hole of being down 2 sets.
And this by no means is over. The Pilots just a couple weeks ago were up 2-0 on Grace here at home, and that ended up going to a 5th set. The Pilots were able to come together and win, but Grace did force that 5th set, so it's not over. But you kind of look at things, and I look at this, and I touched on this earlier, a measuring stick kind of game. And I think if you're the Pilots and Coach Wiegand, you know, in your first season, trying to kind of create an identity for your program, for your tenure, you can look across the court and see where you want to be. Obviously, the Pilots are not there yet, but you can see that, and you can set a goal for yourself and say, that's who we need to be. That's how we need to play at some point.
Yeah, and it seems as though, like, even coming into this game, in preparation for this game, it's not, they didn't come in the mentality of, oh, I was better than us, we're not going to be able to make it. Every game they're going into, like, all right, we can win this game. And it seemed like they came out like that. And as they are in this end of this second set, they're down 2-0. They can still come back. Game is by no means over, but it's just what's going to be different in this third set. What do they need to do differently? And I don't think I have an answer to that question. So hopefully the coaches do, or the captains do in that locker room, what they need to do differently in this third set.
Well, and a lot of that, too, when you come out in this third set, more than anything, there's a lot of pride on the line. You do not want to get swept at home against one of your two biggest rivals. No matter their record, no matter your record, you want to go get something to be positive about. You certainly don't want to get swept. So if that's what it takes, if that's your catalyst, is that you're just going to come out and try to win just for your home crowd, then go and do that and then see where that takes you. But absolutely don't want to get swept.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that the Pilots need to do coming into this third set is have some fun. Is that in the first set, look at they have fun, they're enjoying it, but towards the end of the first set, and even that second set, there wasn't a lot of smiles, there wasn't a lot of laughter. Even the points they did win, there was a small celebration, and then it was like they remember themselves that they were down 1-0 in this set. So they got to enjoy the game, take it seriously, but at the same time know that it's a fun game. Like, they're here to have fun, to enjoy the game. Come out here, be serious, but at the same time enjoy it, have some fun, and maybe they'll take away this third set, go down 1-2.
I'm going to transition here for a little bit. Got 5-6 minutes before the girls get back out for that third set. About a month coming up, you and I have another sport to announce, and that's going to be basketball. And I know you and I are both really excited to see what the men's basketball team can do this season.
Yeah, for sure. Basketball is super exciting here at Bethel. A lot of people are coming out to watch the games, and even this year hearing about the preparation the Pilots have had for this season is they've been working hard. We've been seeing them coming in before class, after class, late at night. Guys have been working out, putting in the work and putting in the sweat before the season started so that during this season that it's going to be not easy, but that it's going to be a better transition into the day-to-day classes and practices. Because being a collegiate athlete, it's definitely hard to balance everything. You've got classes, you've got practices, you've got workouts. And you've just seen it around campus that the basketball players are coming out strong and they're working hard.
Well, and you and I have a bit of a different perspective on it. I know you live right next to basketball players. I live with one of them. And so we do see the different aspects of it. And I know this season for them, it's about staying healthy. You've had the last 2 years, really a lot of your potential cut down by injuries. Of course, 2 seasons ago, the Pilots were rolling. They were playing really good basketball down the stretch. They won a great semifinal game against St. Francis. And Matt Schaus, Conference Player of the Year, tears his ACL in that game. And you could just see the difference. And, of course, it's hard to, in 2 days, prepare to not have your best player. But you could just see the difference when they came out against IWU. And then just a few weeks later at Nationals, first round came out, just didn't have it. Come back last season, you still have Clay Yo. You have a lot of young guys, a lot of experience, and you could just see as the season wore on, Clay, he had some knee injuries at the beginning of the year, and they just chipped away and chipped away. And again, the catalysts of the Pilots for 2 straight years, you're losing them to injury. They were able to scratch out a first-round win at Nationals last year, but again, in the conference, met their demise to who else? Indiana Wesleyan, and then they lost in the second round. So if they can stay healthy, I mean, obviously everybody knows about Clay, but you have junior in Gage Ott, who is going to be starting for a 3rd year. He didn't start his entire freshman year. He did down the stretch. He's got plenty of experience. You have Caleb Ochin, who for the first 2 years of his career was just kind of that spark plug guy, really took a big step last year. You have Jordan Kuhn, injuries first couple of years. He was finally healthy last year. You saw what he has the potential to do. So there's a lot of good role players that really last year, because of injuries, whatever, what have you, were forced to take on a bigger role, and hopefully that pans out for the Pilots this season.
Yeah, for sure. Staying healthy is going to be one of the keys because they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of great guys that are coming in. There's some great recruiting coming in. Even today, as I've seen on campus, there are a couple recruits that coaches brought in. But yeah, if the guys can stay healthy, then I think it's definitely going to be one of the keys to turning this season around and kind of bringing basketball back to where it should be as Bethel Pilots.
Yeah, definitely. And you look 3 years ago, you go on the road, win that conference championship game. It was in overtime against IWU, down at IWU. That was really a high point over the last handful of years. They make it to the Elite Eight in the national in the national tournament, feeling really good. And then again, these last 2 years maybe haven't been quite up to Mike Lightfoot standards. They've still been fantastic seasons. They've still been right around the top of the conference, fighting for that regular season title, but just couldn't get it. And we'll see what happens this year.
Yeah, and as we transition back into volleyball, both teams have come out from the timeout, from the halftime, and I'm kind of curious as to what coaches have said on both sides. As IWU was up 2 sets, they've done well in this game, and as we have it now, Pilots are down 2. Curious as to what the coaches told them in the halftime, in the break. It seems though there's some serious, the girls want this. Yeah. As you said before, we mentioned that word pride, is that the girls really are looking to not be 3-0'd on their home court against one of their biggest rivals, so that if they can come back, win at least 1 set. I mean, the game, it's not over. They can always come back 3-2. It'd be a challenge, but if they can get at least 1 set and come away with something from this game, that'd be huge for the Pilots.
Well, there's certainly just a lot more bounce in their step, a lot more energy just hearing warm-ups. After that second set, it seemed like they were just ready to get back to that locker room. And they've come out here, they're laughing, they're smiling, they're having a good time. And you talked about it a couple times with some of the serves being mental. Sports in general is a lot of the mental game. If you think you're going to lose, you're going to lose. And so you have to come out excited to play, ready to play. And they certainly seem a lot more loose here heading into this 3rd set. And hopefully that will pan out into some better play.
Yeah, 3rd set, only a minute and a half away. We'll see if the Pilots can come out strong like they did in the 1st set. They've got it in them. They have the talent. They're doing well. And yeah, they've got the talent. They just got to come up with the energy that we saw in that 1st set, which it looks like they've got. It looks like, as you said, they're having fun. They're enjoying the game. They just really have to come out and play very strong in the first part of that third set, because if not, we know IWU is going to bring it to them. Wildcats have that talent. They're up 2-0. They have nothing to lose here, so yeah, they're going to come out strong. Pilots have to match that, or it's going to be an unfortunate night here for the Pilots.
IWU will have the first serve to start out this third set again, up 2-0. So from here on out, the Pilots have to win the final 3 sets to get a victory here tonight. The next set victory for IWU will end this one, whenever or if that does come around. Hopefully it does not. Hopefully the Pilots are able to put together what would be a miraculous comeback. But again, like you said, it all starts right here, this very first point. Get off to the start they got off to in the first set, but then keep that going through the rest of the game. The girls head out onto the court. Some last minute words here from Coach Wiegand. She tries to get her girls ready. And for the Pilots, it's going to be Cassandra Williams, Bridget Downs, Zoe Wolfenbarger, Peyton Anderson, Britton Carnahan, and Haley Brown is headed out there. So far tonight she's headed out, but she's come right out for Meg Gabbard in that libero position, so would expect to see that happen again. And it looks like that's what the Pilots will do, as she's standing over on the corner waiting to come out. And it will be Katie Elson for the Wildcats. Cassandra Williams into the corner and in to get the Pilots started off right.
Great touch there, and as we mentioned before, it's not necessarily the huge hit that's going to do it. Sometimes we got to mix it up. It was a soft touch in the back corner, find the open spot. Great point there from Cassandra. Now as we have Meg Gabbard up to serve for the Pilots, up 1-0. Momentum is what they need. They got to come out strong, continue to keep this up as they're up 1-0.
It is Meg Gabbard. And there she is again, Morgan Miller. She has had a fantastic night for the Wildcats, and she keeps it going, tying this thing up at 1.
Peyton was there, outstretched hand, got a touch on it, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough to bring that back up for the Pilots, as it is tied 1-1. Lindsey Rogan for the serve here for the Wildcats.
Little miss hit there from Meg Gabbard. Good job by Peyton Anderson to get it back. And Britton Carnahan able to knock it home.
Another hit, not a lot of power, but she found that open spot, which it seems is going to be the key for the Pilots here, as we have a substitute. Katie Easter coming in here for Vegas, up to serve, as the Pilots are up 2-1. Got to come up strong, got to continue with that momentum.
Katie's been a very consistent server for the Pilots this season. That set's going to go cross court, blocked back, kept up, and Haley Brown can't get there. Be Alexis Rutt into the net, service error. Pilots up 3-2.
Free point there for the Pilots, and the Pilots need to make sure they don't do the same thing there for the Wildcats, because as they are down 2 sets, if the Wildcats win this third set, that's game over. So Pilots have to give everything they can in this third set. Like, leave nothing on the court. They got to come out strong, play their hearts out. Good serve there from Kristen Mitchell.
And there she is again. Morgan Miller just keeps putting them away for the Wildcats to tie it up at 3. It'll be Emily Workman on the serve for Indiana Wesleyan. And Cassie Sears off the block, out of bounds, Pilot point. Good serve there from Haley Brown. Tay Thomas, haven't said her name in a while. She's back out there. Quick hit from Peyton Anderson. Free ball for the Pilots. Can Cassandra Williams put it away? Off the block, kept up. Chance here, Cassie Sears going to go to the back row. And blocked down. What a block from Cassandra Williams all by herself. Sends it back and puts the Pilots up 2.
Cassandra coming in off the bench for the substitute just before that point. Huge block there as the Pilots are up 5-3. Big serve from Haley Brown. As we said, it's all mental. Get it over the net. Help your team out here, and we just want consistent serves. Doesn't have to be a great hit, just consistent over the net. Good serve there from Haley.
Kept up. It's Cassie Sears. And that will find the line. That is Tay Thomas to get it back to a 1-point game.
We have definitely said her name a few times tonight, as she's been consistently a huge hitter, finding those spots where the Pilots aren't quite at, or even if the Pilots are there, making it a big enough hit where they can't defend it.
Kept up by Katie Easter. Krista Mitchell going to go from the back row. That's Kelly Miller. And what a dig from Katie Easter. Meg Gabbard just has to send it over though. Free ball, Tay Thomas down the line and out.
All smiles on the Pilot side. Huge dig, as you mentioned, from Katie Easter. She's loving it. The team's loving it. They're having a lot of fun. Up 2 points. Momentum's there. They just got to keep it.
And it's going to be a free ball for the Pilots. Peyton Anderson going to go cross court. Cassie Sears. And Tay Thomas bombs one home there. 6-5 Pilot lead. Sandra Williams off the block and in. She's had herself a good start to the third set.
Timeout from the Wildcats here, as they're only down 2, but you can definitely feel the momentum's in Bethel's favor in this third set. What do the Wildcats need to do coming in this third set? What have they been doing differently, I guess, in this third set?
Well, I think absolutely, just to start this third set off, like we said, the Pilots have come out looser. Saw they came out, they were warming up, and Iwu was just kind of standing off to the side. I think they were very content being up 2-0. Like we said, they hadn't played their best volleyball, but they felt like they were the better team. They felt like they had gotten off the lead that they were supposed to get off to, and I think they were very okay with that. And the Pilots weren't okay, really frankly, coming out and getting it put to them on their home court. And they've come out and played well. Again, just a 2-point game, so certainly after we saw what happened the last time Iwu called the timeout, hopefully that does not happen again here, and we'll see if Bethel can keep the momentum that they've got going for them right now.
Yeah, we've mentioned the word pride a few times. It seems like Bethel's really fighting for that. This is their home court. Iwu is always a huge rival. They have this pride for this team. They have this pride as a family together, as teammates. They come out strong. They're up 7-5. Not a huge lead, but you can just feel the momentum's in their favor. As they come out of this timeout, they're laughing, they're yelling, they're having a good time. Momentum's there. They just got to keep it.
Well, we will see if they can keep that momentum going, and for them it will be Bridget Downs to try to do that. And it's going to be Tay Thomas off the block, and they say off the net and out, not off the block, so that is a Pilot point. Up 8-5 now. And that one, no doubt left behind there. That is Remy Buckner getting it back to a 2-point game. Katie Elson now serving for the Wildcats. And a tough hit there, and the Pilots aren't able to keep it around. Elson, she's had some fantastic serves tonight, and there was another one.
Definitely been consistent this night, which is what both teams need. They just need a consistent server.
Sandra Williams just throws it right into the top of the net, and that ties it up at 8.
Cassandra definitely been an impact player in these first few points in this set 3. Rare mistake that we saw from her.
Kristen Mitchell, big hit. Finding the back of the court. Puts the Pilots up 9-8. And sends Meg Gabbard back to serve. Knuckleball there from Meg Gabbard. And what a hit. Remy Buckner just fires one into the corner. Ties this thing up at 9 as we have a delay to wipe up the floor again. It will be Lindsay Rogan serving for the Wildcats to try to take the lead here in this third set. It's gonna be Haley Brown, and it's sent back at her.
A little bit of frustration there as we saw Haley Brown was there. Average set, Haley could have got there. Unfortunately, Iowa came out on the better half of that one.
Oh, and I think Haley's issues, she thought that she hit it off the block and out, and the call was that it never made it to the block. It was off the top of the net and out. That is out off of the Wildcats, and it ties it up at 10.
Once again, just kind of like in set number 2, there hasn't been a whole lot of great rallies by either team, not a whole lot of consecutive points. We'll see if the Pilots can come out, get the 2 or 3 or 4 points strung together, kind of get up, get a nice, comfortable lead, continue this run.
It's Kristen Mitchell now down the line, and the Pilots are back up on top. And the serve from Katie Easter goes just long to tie things back up at 11.
Looked like a good serve, and I believe the Wildcats wanted to hit that one, left out just at the last moment. Good call though, as it is out of bounds. 11-11, Wildcats serve.
Haley Brown has to go left-handed, but it works, and the Pilots are going to get a free ball. Here's Peyton Anderson. She's going to go to Haley. Haley has to run over, get it cross court, and it's wide.
Decent set there. Haley found the spot that was open. Unfortunately, pushed it just a tad wide as they're down 1 in this set 3.
Going to go to Kristen Mitchell, and they are begging for a tip. I would have to agree with the Pilots. Unless Kristen somehow hit it straight with some rise.
Yeah,
certainly think that got tipped, but the officials did not see it that way.
It seemed almost like a makeup call from the one we saw in the second set, but Pilots coming away at that point, down 1.
No question on that hit from Haley Brown, certainly off of the blockers and out. And it brings the Pilots back to a 12-13 deficit with Kristen Mitchell serving. That's off the net, and Anderson and Gabbard both going down to a knee, trying to keep it alive, just couldn't. There'll be Amanda Brinkman coming into the game now. Workman serving. Haley Brown teeing off. And she's going to head back to serve.
That was a huge hit there from Haley. Hopefully she has a little confidence now coming in this serve. Big serve for the Pilots, down 1, down 2-0 in this set, number 3.
And she sends that one long and goes to head off the court. Just not happy with herself tonight. Been a tough night all around for the Pilots.
Haley hasn't played that bad throughout the whole game. It's just her serves have been a little off, a little inconsistent. I think she's just mentally out of it. It's unfortunate for the Pilots, but they're down 2 in the set 3. Definitely not out of it. Continue to get that momentum back. They can pull away this set 3.
Heck of a play there just to keep this one alive, and that's going to be a lift on Emily Workman. Pilots scrapping to get that point, and Peyton Anderson will come on to serve. And what a hit. That is Kylie Portera. Does her damage and then gets subbed out.
Subbed right out. It seems like that was one of those hits where even if the Pilots were there, not much you can do about that one. That one was a cannon.
And it's followed up by an error from Banner Rogers. Right now, both teams just trading points back and forth. Pilots down 1. If they could get on a bit of a run here, they could easily win this third set.
It does seem like we've seen a different Pilot team coming in this third set. Whatever was said at halftime has been working. Unfortunate point for theirs. Both Pilots were there for the block, just slips right through.
That's Remy Buckner. And back to what's been easily their best weapon on the serve, number 11, Katie Elson. It's gonna be Kristen Mitchell off the block and down. What a hit from Mitch.
Huge hit, huge point. Pilots only down by 1. They got to string together some points, so get that momentum back as they started this third set.
It's Meg Gabbard serving now, down 1, and she goes into the net. Not happy with herself there.
It's another one of those free points given the Wildcats, which the Pilots cannot do if they want to take this to a game 4, set 4.
And it's Vegas off the block and in. And they'll send Katie Easter in for the serve. Down 1, 18-17, getting late here in the third set. We have a delay here for, again, some moisture on the court, get it cleaned up. And now Katie's ready to serve. Gonna go cross-court set. Haven't called her name in a while, but that is Bianca Cifaldi. She was dominant early on in the first set. The Pilots really focused a lot of their defense on her. It opened up some chances for some other players, but she gets the point there to put the Wildcats up 2. And a miss hit there from Katie Easter, and it comes back to bite the Pilots, now down 3. Their biggest deficit here of the third set.
Pilots got to turn it around, only 5 points away from this game being over. They're not out, but they got to believe that. They got to come back, win a couple points at a time.
Peyton Anderson going to set up Kristen Mitchell. Morgan Miller can't do it. Open in the backside and somehow kept alive. 2 Pilots come together, and IWU has another chance, kept up. Can the Pilots put it away? Haley Brown cannot. Kristen Mitchell blocked back at her. What a point from the Wildcats. Really, you felt like there was no way they would win that one, and somehow they do. And it's going to be a timeout for Coach Wiegand.
Smart timeout here. Yeah, that point was, it was just crazy. It was weird. A lot of stuff happened. It was kind of an ugly point. Seemed like Bethel for sure had it. Wildcats with a great point over the net. Free ball there for the Pilots. Couldn't put it away, and the Wildcats took that point. Now as they're up 4, only 4 points away from taking this set 3.
Well, and you said something about that free ball. It's just sitting up there to get hit, and Haley Brown and Peyton Anderson jump into each other and are just able to tap it back over instead of really putting anything behind it. So it's just those little things that, you know, you were in this down a point, down 2 points, back and forth. Now all of a sudden you're down 4 at a stage of the game where you really can't afford to be down 4, 21-17.
And if we look at these two teams we compare, there hasn't really been a huge difference. Like if we come into this game beforehand, look at the records, it seems like IWU should be winning these by a whole lot more, but the Pilots, they're not out of it. The talent isn't that different. It's just it's the mental attitude, I think. It's kind of what, like the Pilots, whether they can believe or not that they're going to win this game. Pilots not out of it. They weren't out of it from the start. They're down 2 sets. They can definitely come back. They just got to believe it. They got to win 1 point at a time.
Well, you said mental attitude, and then I'll throw in there too, execution. And those are 2 things that are absolutely fixable. As the season goes on, I mean, if you are too far behind in talent, that's something that you're going to have to deal with. And as Haley Brown smokes one, but if your problems are execution and, like you said, just that mental toughness, you can absolutely change that in 1 season and really come the end of your year be a different team. So the Pilots certainly have that ahead of them, and they have a great opportunity now to show a lot of grit and a lot of heart, now down just 3 in this 3rd set. Blocked back at Peyton Anderson, kept up. Katie Easter's just got to go over with it. It's going to be Safaldi off the block, kept up. Peyton Anderson finds it. Brinkman. Point Pilots.
You get that feeling that the Pilots are not going down easy here. They're only down 2 points. It seemed like IWU had this set put away. It's not over yet. Pilots believe that. They're only down 2. Kristen Mitchell for the serve. Huge serve here for the Pilots.
Here is Kristen Mitchell. And that just falls in the Pilots' lap. 22-19. The Wildcats 3 points from sending everyone home. Can the Pilots put something together here? It's Emily Workman. Haley Brown off the set, off the net, kept up. Again kept alive. Blocked back and out of bounds, and it's just those points, right? Free balls that somehow IWU is able to keep alive and get their offense set back up. Fantastic play, though.
It seemed like it was an easy point there for the Pilots. Wildcats somehow pulled that point away.
Fantastic quick set there from Peyton Anderson going on 2. Gets this to 23-20, and Haley Brown serving. Can she bring it together here when the Pilots absolutely need her most? Off the block, kept up. It's Cassandra Williams. Blocked back at him. Haley Brown's going to go from the back row, and they call it out. That certainly looked in.
You can see hesitation there from the judge on the side. It looked like he wanted to say it was in. Called it out in the end. There's an appeal here from coach, but and now we get the timeout.
Well, final timeout. And when we come back from the timeout, it's going to be Ashlyn Buck serving, and IWU is going to have 4 match points. By that we mean the Pilots have to at least get this thing tied at 24, because again, you have to win these sets by 2. So got to get this back, and then you'll have hopefully 3 serves in a row, but you got to get that last point out of your head. I know everybody's frustrated. Everybody felt like that ball was in, but got to get it out of your head now. This is it. You can't lose anymore.
Comes back down to the word pride, which we talked about a few times. Pilots came out. They had pride. They had the want to win this game. It's not over yet. It's looking a little rough for them, but as we said before, 1 point at a time. Got to come up big on defense here as the serve is coming. Down 4 points. They just need 6 points to put this away, take it to that set 4.
Well, and they certainly have shown a lot more fight here in this third set. It has looked a lot cleaner, a lot better here coming out of that longer break between the second and third set. And they're facing 4 match points, but certainly have played with a lot more heart here.
Seems like a different team coming out in this third set. Let's see what they can do here, as this is match point.
And Cassandra Williams goes wide left, and that will end it. The Wildcats are going to move to 8-0 in conference. The Pilots fall to 3-5. They will stay in 8th place no matter what happens, as St. Francis is 1-6, sitting behind them. But a tough sweep there. Like we said, IWU at times looked like the best team in the conference, looked on top of their game. Other times they just kind of figured it out through the rallies. But whatever way you cut it, the Pilots have now lost 9 straight sets, 3 straight 0-3 sweeps. That is going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. But they will have a chance to get right back at it tomorrow afternoon against Mount Vernon. Of course, Mount Vernon, though, second in the conference. Hopefully they can get a quick turnaround. And I would say if they come out tomorrow playing like they finished here tonight, even though it was a loss, it was certainly the best they looked all night. And hopefully you can come out with that fire tomorrow, keep it going, and get a victory.
Yeah, the Pilots came out great here in this third set. We saw a different team coming out here. If they can play, as you said, like they did, as they finish tonight, tomorrow, then Mount Vernon definitely has a different Pilot team to deal with.
Well, once again, the 23rd ranked Wildcats sweep the Pilots here at home 3-0. Thank you for joining us here on the Bethel Sports Network. For Justin Brown, I'm Ethan Klein, signing off.